Let's talk about etiology and pathology of diarrhea. The term diarrhea is defined as the passage of semi-formed or watery stools that are usually, but not always, passed more frequently than normal. In Chinese, the word diarrhea is composed of two characters, both of which have the sound she, one meaning loose stools, the other stools like water. Acute seasonal diarrhea is more frequent during summer and autumn. Invasion of external pathogenic factors. External pathogenic factors causing diarrhea can be cold, dampness, and summer heat. Cold can invade the intestines directly bypassing the body's defensive chi portion. This happens when one is exposed to cold weather. Contrary to what one might expect, it happens more frequently in summertime when one is lightly dressed. If there is a spell of unreasonably cold weather, or if one stands in the wind. After swimming with the body still wet, then cold may invade the intestines and cause diarrhea and abdominal pain. The simple questions in chapter 39 says, when cold invades the small intestine, this cannot transform food properly, and diarrhea and abdominal pain result. The spiritual axis in chapter 29 says, when cold invades the stomach, there is abdominal pain and distension. When it invades the intestines, diarrhea and borborygmi result. When the stomach has cold but the intestines heat, then distension and diarrhea result. Summer heat also invades intestines and spleen and is a frequent cause of acute diarrhea in summertime. In this case, the person will also have symptoms of invasion of the defensive chi system by summer heat, that is, fever and aversion to cold. The simple questions in chapter 5 says, when wind injures the body in springtime, diarrhea results in summertime. Of the external pathogenic factors, dampness is the one that most frequently causes diarrhea. External dampness penetrates the channels of the leg and flows up to the spleen, where it obstructs its function of transformation and transportation, leading to diarrhea. Diet is, of course, a frequent cause of acute or chronic diarrhea. The most common cause of acute diarrhea is eating spoiled food, too hot or too cold foods. Chronic diarrhea may be caused simply by overeating or by the excessive consumption of cold, greasy, or sweet foods. This impairs the transforming and transporting of the spleen so that spleen qi cannot ascend and diarrhea results. Zhang Chepin says in the complete book of Qingyue, diarrhea is either due to diet or invasion of a pathogenic factor. When due to diet, there is cold accumulation. Worry, pensiveness, brooding, and excessive mental work weaken the spleen and may cause chronic diarrhea. Anger, which normally affects the liver, may also affect the spleen when one gets angry or frustrated after meals. This upsets the spleen's transforming and transporting and leads to diarrhea. Zhang Chepin says in the complete book of Qingyue, if anger occurs during or after eating, it injures stomach and spleen. It affects both liver and spleen, and wood invades earth. Working long hours associated with irregular eating or physical overwork, including excessive exercise, weakens the spleen and often leads to diarrhea. Any chronic illness also inevitably weakens the spleen and may lead to diarrhea. Working long hours without adequate rest under conditions of stress may weaken the kidneys. If a person has a tendency to yang deficiency, it will lead to kidney yang deficiency. When kidney yang fails to nourish spleen yang, the spleen lacks the warmth necessary to transform and transport, and this may result in diarrhea. Zhang Chebin in the complete book of Qingyue says, the kidneys are the gate of the stomach, and they control the two lower orifices. Thus, the opening and closing of the two lower orifices depends on the kidneys. If kidney yang is deficient and the fire of the gate of vitality is declining, yin qi is victorious and diarrhea results. Thus, diarrhea is most of all related to the spleen among the internal organs, and of the pathogenic factors, it is most of all related to dampness. Of the internal organs, the liver and kidneys also play a role. For this reason, Zhang Chepin says in the complete book of Qingyue, the root of diarrhea cannot not be in the spleen and stomach. In any type of diarrhea, there is always an inversion in the movement of spleen qi. That is, spleen chi descending instead of ascending. The simple questions in chapter 5 says, when clear chi descends and turbid chi ascends, there is diarrhea. Thank you for your attention.